my belief would be that over the years, as 3D printing has progressed, it might have been very important in Iran because of sanctions. So you can't get the type of parts and stuff that you need from other places. So a place like Iran might have some stores that just 3D print stuff for you, or they have normal parts that are needed for some cars or for some stuff. I don't know. This is just question as much as a topic. How strong is the 3D print industry in Iran? Because in this part, I would also love to Jeff to comment on this, because as I understand, a lot of the beginnings of Ukraine resistance against Shahed drones and against tanks and all this stuff was also 3D printing drones and grabbing motors and doing this kind of stuff and having some very basic programs, some chips, and doing some very simple stuff. So I would love to know if 3D printing blueprints and this kind of thing, it's a good thing as far as knowledge base to give, simple chipsets that can be used and found that are probably for cars or other things that can be repurposed, simple Linux programs that can just be dropped in there, because I believe that there is a very strong possibility that in a place that's a little bit isolated like Iran, there may be, you know, some resources like that are available that you know might be good to use, but I have no idea what the 3D print scene is like in Iran. So I wanted to just put that out there because I have no knowledge on.
So Iran ranks 22nd globally and second among Islamic nations for 3D printing scientific research. So domestic industry, due to heavy international sanctions, local companies build their own industrial metal and ceramic 3D printers rather than importing them. And then we have the technology is highly integrated into Iran's localized aerospace, defense, automotive, and medical manufacturing sector. So I'm assuming this is all government control. So I don't know how other people could get access to that. The government is established. Yeah, this is like mostly government. Let me look into while Jeffrey responds. I'll look into if the private people have access to that. Go on, Jeffrey.
That's actually a very good question. Um, so using the Ukrainian model, it's true, they turned, me and some others played a role in this, turning 3D printing into an industrial scale decentralized production system. You can do things like drone parts and frames, repairs and customization, boom boom accessories, because I want to be YouTube compliant, medical support items. I'll kind of go down some of it, like how Iranian resistance would maybe find some things advantageous, and we'll just leave it at a very low level for obvious operational security reasons. So drone frames and parts, if you're doing custom airframes, mounts, propeller guards, other types of mechanisms, it's low to medium risk and or difficulty. Payload adapters, to put it politely, the difficulty level and risk is generally medium. The difficulty is low, the risk is medium. Tools and repair parts, so like wrenches and replacement drone components and all that stuff. I mean, the benefit for resistance is self-sufficiency in remote areas. The difficulty and risk is very low. Simple unalive things is, you know, like receivers, grips, FGC9 style or similar. I'm sure you understand what that is, Sketch. You know, it supplements, you know, external sourced unalive things. So the difficulty and risk is high. You have safety plus detection. If they find out you're doing it. So electronic warfare and surveillance, like antenna mounts and drone detectors, counter regime drones, electronic warfare, it's about medium. Medical support, so tourniquets, splints, it's like low. So regarding the chips, yes, and that's all I'll say because of the, you know, for obvious reasons. I'm going to go real quick is what I mean by risk and how to minimize them. So detection risk, you know, if the regime remnants monitor large purses of filaments, or they just have like a list of people using 3D printers, or if they had one and they go there to confiscate it, it's not there. So, you know, there are ways to use multiple small printers and buy filaments in small quantities through proxies and all this other stuff. So quality and safety, there's issues there like parts can fail if you don't know what you're doing. That's why the skill level is important. Uh, Material and electronics bottleneck. You kind of just mentioned that, although I don't want to say for obvious reasons what electronics.
So I need to go soon, but guys, people who are watching on YouTube, remember that once I leave, the conversation continues in the discussion group. So I encourage you guys to join the discussion group and talk about this and all other political related topics globally to join people. But let me give you the last update to Sketch regarding his question. I didn't know this, by the way, but apparently in Iran, anyone can easily purchase a desktop 3D printers for home use as long as they can afford it, including locally manufactured brands like Cezanne. So Cezanne is a locally manufactured brand in the private sector for 3D printing. And not only that, citizens can upload 3D files to local service websites and get finished parts delivered to their door. So even if you don't have a 3D printer, apparently there are online services that you could just upload a file and they will deliver it to their home, to your home. So they have that in Iran. I didn't know that, by the way. So I don't know. Is that helpful? Yes, go ahead,
Yes,
Sketch.
very. Yeah,
That's
yes, because that was where my mind. I'm just going. I'm not even open source intel. I'm just going off the top of my head. Well, this seems logical to me. Like there might be some like just putting some good, blueprints out there for anyone who wants to do anything, wants to do a little surveillance. Maybe you want to record your dog running around the park or whatever you want to record, whatever you want to see. So that's good. I'm glad that that's there. I'm glad and
Yeah.
I I'm glad that you know that sometimes the market finds a way, because this is this way because of the sanctions, but the market is bringing some opportunities for other people to do other things and to
Right.
survive, and I love it. I just want to say that. Thank you very much.
Just for people to understand, when a lot of people when they go to Iran, they a lot of their assumptions get this, like a lot of people think like, oh, Iran is like kind of like Iraq or Pakistan. But when they go to, I don't know what, actually maybe I'm this is my maybe my bias is, okay, they might have like an Afghanistan kind of mentality over what's happening in Iran. But when they go to Iran, they see like, oh yeah, people are ordering food online, they're this is why the economic situation in Iran is devastating, because a lot of people feel like, oh, these people were already living hard lives, so they should be used to this. I like, no. Like, Iranian people, like a lot of their living is pretty much like people in other countries. Like they are used, they playing video games, they're ordering what their version of Uber Eats, and they have online shopping. They're pretty much, the regime is very different from other people's regime governments, but the Iranian people's lives is, when you go to the mall in Iran, a lot of people are like, holy shit, what the fuck? I thought like this is Iran. I mean, it depends where in Iran you're going. Like if you're in Tehran or in Shiraz or in Isfahan, you pretty much get pretty much get the same type of lifestyle. Only if you go to, like, I don't know, Sistan Baluchistan, for example, it seems like you're going back in time, right, within the country. But the reason why the economic situation is very difficult for a lot of Iranian people is because it's the same. It's that they're already living different lifestyle. The maybe so they're not this is not something that they're used to, right? A lot of people are like, oh, it's a third world country, so I guess they could tolerate this. Like they could, it's basically as bad as if this was happening to, I don't know, Americans. Like when the internet went down for 3 months in Iran, a lot of people outside were like, oh yeah, I'm sure this, like, I can't handle not having the internet. I would lose my mind if I didn't have the internet for a week. But that's Iran, so I'm pretty sure they could deal with that. Like, no, they cannot. They cannot. They're losing their minds. Like, not having the internet is like horrible in Iran. So just wanted to give you guys some perspective that um their lifestyle is not as far as from an American lifestyle, or I don't know, a British lifestyle, as some people assume. Okay.
In our
Yeah.
defense, I'll say they mostly show us Iraq and Afghanistan. That's all they show us on TV, so it gives a bad impression.
One thing you could do. Okay, so here's what we have to be careful about. If you go search on YouTube, say Iran streets or Iran mall or Iran like shopping or Iran like restaurants, if you watch that, you may be like, holy shit, this is actually quite nice, right? Like, just go search for like Tehran mall, just casual mall. I don't know, they have a specific name or something. Like, just go watch those YouTube videos and you'll see that it's actually quite nice. But the problem with that is that if you watch those, some people might get the impression of like, oh, okay, so the Islamic Republic is not that bad. Um, so which is not the message that we want to put out there, because the Islamic Republic has killed tens of thousands of Iranian people for simply just stating their opinions, not just in early January, but for the past 47 years. And even though many Iranians are living lifestyles similar to other people around the world, the parts of Iran that I mean, right now more Iranian people are suffering. Like, even people who were in the middle class are now considered poor. But back then, the people who in the middle class had very lifestyles that were pretty much the same, close to what people were experiencing outside of the world. That might be the case, but the poor, they're not even online, right? So it's some people look at the numbers and you're like, they're saying like this percentage of the population is experiencing like severe amount of poverty, like they're below the poverty line. But then I look at videos on YouTube and I'm seeing like they're shopping, they're eating at nice restaurants, they're playing video games, they're spending money on their girlfriends. Like, how is that? What is this? So the thing is that those people, first of all, a lot of people who are poor don't share their life, okay, because there's nothing to share. People don't want to see that, right? And also the extreme poor, they're not even online, right? And there's millions of them. So there's no contradiction between seeing, people in Iran going to the mall and shopping and having parties and drinking and and all of that, and having some nice lifestyles, and the stats that shows that the Iranian people are suffering. Both of these could be true at the same time. But what has happened recently is a lot of the people from middle class have now been moved into poverty, and a lot of people from the upper middle class are now considered middle class, and a lot of people who used to be rich are now upper middle class, right? So basically everybody is being downgraded, um a bit. Well, not a bit, a lot. And this is just the beginning.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.